There is a lot going on at the moment, even if it doesn't actually seem like it, as we've got this third DLC, The Dawn of Ragnarok, which has been named in the game files thanks to Pedder, on top of this Cassandra side quest, which I can also now confirm to you actually has a name, and it's called the Fated Encounter, which is thanks to Pedder again, who's found this in the game files. But on top of that, we've got this Wild Hunt Festival, which will be the 1.4 update confirmed by Ubisoft, and that's around 2 or so weeks away, perhaps the 9th or the 16th of November, where we'll be dodging booby traps in Briton Tombs around the country, and this has also been named as the Tombs of the Fallen, once again thanks to our very own community Yoms Viking Pedder. But here's the thing, he's found even more stuff in the game files that could potentially be another side quest or kind of spin-off, similar to the Cassandra story arc that we've already speculated on. So I'm going to drop a super swift spoiler alert here, folks. Even though this info has been found in the game files, it is very much subject to change, so do bear that in mind going forward. But this time it seems like we're going to be chasing Rollo across England, who somehow has come into possession of a piece of Eden, and this is where it gets even more juicy, because it looks like we're going to be experiencing historical visions via this Isu artifact with Rollo, including Julius Caesar's invasion of Britain and the Battle of Hastings of 1066, with one of the main big dogs of that battle being Rollo's great-great-grandson, William the Conqueror. In fact, how this quest starts is that it looks like we actually receive a note or letter from Rollo, and it perhaps arrives in the chest in the Longhouse, similar to what we kind of see after we complete story arcs in England, where it states that Rollo wants Eivor to meet him at the Canterbury Inn in Kent. Now, after we do arrive, Rollo says that he's won this mysterious stone, and it's presumed to be the piece of Eden, the Isu artifact, as Rollo describes it being very warm to the touch. In fact, he goes on to say further that he actually won this gambling, and ever since he's had it, he can't sleep, he can't eat, and he feels like he needs to do something with it. And this all sounds very similar to what we've actually heard about the locals complaining about on the Isle of Skye when this Cassandra story arc, not being able to sleep or eat because of this mysterious force. In any case, Eivor goes on to say that he or she, depending upon who you play with, has seen a stone like this before, and it's not of this realm, and actually asks Rollo where he got it. He goes on to say that he won it from this merchant who was very angry to lose it, and that the artifact was actually wrapped in a cloth with Saxon writing on it. In fact, Eivor then translates this writing on this cloth to a location that Rollo actually knows, and that's where we actually end up travelling to next. Now, I'm told we don't know what that location is, but when we do arrive here, Rollo asks a woman what actually happened to her husband, presumably the dude he'd been gambling with, and she says that he was murdered for that cursed stone that a grave robber dug up from near the cliffs, and to whom her husband had actually bought it off. Rollo suddenly says that he actually had visions of cliffs and then goes sprinting off towards them, and this is where it gets a little foggy, as Pedder tells me that after this, it looks like we essentially follow Rollo from tomb to tomb across the country via these visions that he continually has, thanks to this piece of Eden that he's carrying. Now, I think these are more Odin Rune locations, just to say it bluntly, which I also think is, if this side quest does come out post this 1.4 update, will be the natural lead on from this Odin Rune mystery that we're going to be picking up in this Wild Hunt Oscaria festival, which we actually do cover in detail in this video, by the way. So, of course, this is more healthy speculation, and thanks to Kev for confirming this on our Discord, but at the moment we have 6 Odin Rune locations in England, and we've got 3 in Ireland, and I can't honestly see us visiting all 9 Odin Rune locations in one update. So I think this potentially lines up as kind of a staggered update series where we get to the bottom of the Odin Rune mysteries sometime in 2022 after we visit the variety of different story arcs that we've got here. Now, when we do arrive in this cliff location, and again, it's not specified where that exactly is in the game files, but we do have an Odin Rune location with cliffs on the south coast, not too far from Canterbury, so potentially there, I think. But there is an entry here which specifically states that as soon as Eivor reaches this location of the Isu Vault, Rollo isn't there, so we're assuming here that Eivor has to wait around until he does arrive. But once he does arrive, it looks like they enter this cave, and Eivor actually stumbles upon a vision of Caesarion in the corridor, who actually mentions his father, and this vision again presumably is caused by the piece of Eden. But Caesarion was actually the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, his parents being Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, who we've coincidentally come across before in AC Origins. In fact, it looks like Caesarion goes on to tell Eivor and Rollo about his mother, Cleopatra, and then shows himself one more time to them while they make their way through this vault, and states how power corrupted his family and how he actually chose to walk away from it. And after these visions dissipate, we don't actually have anything further from Pedder in terms of those conversations at the moment, but it does seem like Eivor and Rollo make it to the end of this Isu tomb, reach a pedestal, and place this piece of Eden upon it, which then teleports them to Hastings. But before we do tuck into Hastings, if you have learned anything new or picked up any value at all from the video, a very swift like down below genuinely helps me out, as these videos do take a lot of time to make, and it really is a great way to show you support. So thank thank you very much. So we've gone ahead and we've put this piece of Eden on the pedestal, and then we've suddenly been transported to Hastings. And the game files go on to say that Eivor is discombobulated after being swallowed up by this vision in the Isu vault and actually begins looking for Rollo. It does seem to become very apparent though that Eivor is in some sort of battle as a soldier shouts to Eivor to rally the king, who is then noted as being William of Hastings, who is then also noted as using a piece of Eden to control the opposing king in this battle, which is presumably King Harold Godwinson, to give himself an easy shot. The game files then go on to state that William shoots the king in the eye and the vision ends. Now historically, Harold Godwinson in the Battle of Hastings against William the Conqueror was shot in the eye with an arrow, but it wasn't known who actually took that fatal shot, so it looks like Ubisoft may be taking some creative license here on how this death actually turned out, presumably by William the Conqueror, descendant of Rollo, performing the killing blow. And this is the kind of stuff I love to see in Assassin's Creed games. I'm just going to be straight up. The creative license is fine by me, but it's built around this historical accuracy. I love to see it. I really do hope this kind of stuff comes to the game, and if it does, it's going to be a big tick from me. But it doesn't stop there, because after the vision ends, Peder has found reference to Rollo and Eivor walking out of the vault to kind of mull over their adventure, but not until Rollo points out that there is now a sword on the pedestal. So could we pick up an Isu one-handed sword here? I really hope so. I'd also love to see that. Now we've got more visions, because Peder's also rustled up some more info about another vault, but this time it's by the Thames River and it's about Julius Caesar, and it looks like Rollo and Eivor visit the Thames and react with something near it, causing a Roman soldier to then appear in this vision, who then talks to Caesar about actually crossing the Thames River. And after Eivor and Rollo actually cross the river, Caesar appears again and says that he's actually planning to head north to Black Peak, which is an actual location in Valhalla, by the way. It's here on your map on your screen right now, and it's located in Grantabridgeshire. So after Eivor and Rollo then arrive there, Caesar appears again in another vision, but he's standing this time with a Briton king. No dialogue found at the moment, but surprisingly the game files note some sort of Order of the Ancients agent then appear and subsequently fight Eivor and Rollo. And after defeating this agent, we actually pick up Julius Caesar's personal diary, and in the diary there's a final location noted as Sutton in East Anglia, and this is actually another location in Valhalla. I'm going to pop it on your screen right now, and it's very famous in real life. Some of the most prestigious archaeological finds in British and arguably world history have been found here, including priceless treasures of the Anglo-Saxon time period, and it sounds like a perfect place to hide something at the end of a questline in Valhalla. And I also forgot to mention that we actually get a cutscene of some Roman war elephants after crossing the Thames, by the way. So if this does actually come out and make its way into the game, and you come across some sort of war elephant, make sure you come back to this video and give Peder a fist bump in the comments section, because he's got his crystal ball out again, and I bet you we're going to see them. Speaking of his crystal ball, when the 1.4 update does come out quite soon, I have no doubt that we're going to be picking up huge amounts of info courtesy of Peder himself. So if that does interest you, make sure you do hit the bell notification so you can get yourself back here easily and find out what's to come in potentially 2022. And if you haven't already, do come join our awesome Discord community of over 600 members. There really is a great set of people here, and it would be awesome to see you in the lobby. Anyway, big thanks again to Peder. Top shift again, dude, and very much looking forward to more. And I think that's going to do it for me in this one, folks. I'm sure I'll see you in the next video, and as usual, coffee is most certainly on me.